Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Hello everyone and welcome to your English class. In our lesson today, we will continue with our second unit, which is titled Careers. Our lesson today is the form, meaning and function in your books, page 30 and 31. All you need for the lesson today is your books, page 30 and 31, your workbooks for some exercise, a sheet of paper and a pen to take down your notes. Let's get started. By the end of today's lesson, you will be able to use present simple tense correctly, and you will be able to use propositions of time correctly. So it is the present simple tense and the propositions of time. Let's get started with these. Now we will go back to our friends from the conversation lesson, Yusuf and Khalid. Here is Yusuf, who is not satisfied, he's not happy about his job. Let's listen to what he's saying. Yusuf would tell us, I am Yusuf. I work at the bank. I work from 8 to 6, and sometimes I work on the weekend. I do not enjoy working here. I think I will quit my job. This is his friend, Khalid. Khalid, who is a TV reporter, and he's going to tell us about his job. Yusuf is telling us, my friend Khalid is a TV reporter. He travels a lot to report the news. Khalid and his friends enjoy working out and meeting new people. They do not have strict working hours. So here we have listened to Yusuf telling us about his own job and telling us about Khalid's job, his friend's job, and how happy he is. Let's check these sentences. He travels a lot to report the news. Khalid and his friends, a group of people, they enjoy working out and meeting new people. They do not have strict working hours. Which tense have we used in here? We use the present simple because this is a routine, a life, something that is like repetitive. It's happening every day for life. So one of the sentences is, he works as a TV reporter. From here, I want to highlight one thing. Let's try to find the verb in here. The verb in here, it's works. It is works. What do I mean when I say works? One word carries many things. What is the meaning? Works. So the action, which is work. The present simple of work, the present tense of works is work. What do I mean by this S? It carries the time. This is the timing. So at what time? In the present simple tense. Which helping verb are we going to use? Helping verb like do, does, did. We're having is, are, and am. If it is S, you will use does. So, he does work as a TV reporter. But I will use this helping verb, which is the does, when I want to form a question or a negative sentence. Another sentence, Yusuf also told us, I work from 8 to 6 every day. Where is the verb in here? We've got work. What do you mean by this work? The action, which is work, the present simple, work. And do we have an S? No. So instead of does, you will use here, you will use do. So, do you work from 8 to 6? And does he work as a TV reporter? If it is a question. So, always whenever you find a verb, try to analyze it to find the helping verb in case you needed to form a question or negative sentence. Let's check in here. Speaking about the present simple tense, what do we mean by present simple? Something that is repetitive. It happened yesterday, here. It is happening today, and it will happen in the future. Nothing is going to change. The sun rises. It had risen. It is rising today, and will happen tomorrow. The same thing happening as a routine. How can you form a sentence in the simple present tense? As usual, we start with the pronoun he, she, or it, they, you, we, or I, followed by, just like any English sentence, by the verb. If it is he, she, or it, it will be followed by s. As a reminder, this stands for does. So he works, she goes, it plays. How about the other ones? They, you, we, and I, followed by the verb itself. It means that here we will have do plus the verb. Okay, examples. We wake up early. Wake, do, and work. Wake. 2. Water boils at 100 degrees. Boil and does. This one stands for the does. Okay, so let's go ahead in here. Now let's look into this picture. He works at the bank. The first thing that you will do in here, works. Let's try to analyze works. It will be work, which is the action, plus does, which is the S that we've got in here. Now we've got all we need. Now I want to form a question. How can I form the question? Does he work at the bank? You start with the helping verb. Does he work at the bank? What do you think? From the picture we can say yes. Yes, he does. He works at the bank. I want to form another question. Does he work at school? What do you think? No. No, he doesn't work at school. He works at the bank. He doesn't work at school. Notice, if it is a question, we will use does. If it is negative, we will use does. How about if we use they? The same. They work at the bank. Let's try to analyze work. What do I mean by work? Works, does. Here, the verb is work, and we have nothing that is attached, so it is do. The helping verb is do. Let's form a yes-no question. The question is, do they work at the bank? We have just changed the order in here. Do they work at the bank? Yes. Yes, they do. Notice, do, because it is a question. How about the other one? Do they work at school? No, they don't. They do not work at school. So, question, we have used do, also do, because we have the negative. So, these they are. Now let's try to form another type of questions. It's not a yes-no question. Now I need information. Like, what is your name? I need information. Here, he works at the bank. I will take it step by step. The first thing that I want you to do is to analyze works. What do you mean by works? It is work plus does, because I've got an S here. I got all what I need in here. He does work at the bank. Yes-no question? I will say, does he work at the bank? All I have done here, just changing the order, inversion. Does he work at the bank? Now, this underlined word or phrase, at the bank, which WH question word? Who, how, what, where, when, why? What is the WH question word you will use for bank? Place. I will use where. Here, I will use where. Can I say, where does he work at the bank? No, just take out the answer. Delete it, because it will be the answer. So the question is, does he work? Where does he work? He works at the bank. The answer is, he works at the bank. What have I done? Yes, no question, take out the answer, and this is my question. One more. Khalid works at 8. Let's analyze works. Works, I have an S, so it is does. Here, the verb, the present tense, is work, and this one is does. Khalid does work at 8. yes no question, we will say does he or does Khalid work at 8? Does he work at 8? Yes. Yes, he does. He works at 8. Now I want to ask a question about at 8. Time. Who, how, what, where, or when. Which WH question word? I would use when. So, when does he work at 8? Take out. I've got already when, so I will take this one out. So the question is, when does he work? He works at 8. Okay, so that's it. Now let's go to your workbooks, page 19. Here, exercise K, complete the question and answer for each prompt. So we've got a lady, so she, and we're having the answer. You will come up with a question and its answer. Number 1, Rana do nurse. Rana, she, so we need a does. What does Rana do? Look at the picture. What does she do? She is a nurse. To ask about someone's job, you need to, what does he do? What do they do? What does Rana do? She's a nurse. Now we want to ask a question with where, and the answer will be hospital. About Rana, so where does she work? Here we're still speaking about Rana, which is she, one. Where does she work? The answer is hospital. She works in a hospital, because I've got does, so that's why I have the S. She works in a hospital. One more. We're having number 2. We're having here a man and he's a chef. You do. I want to ask him. So, what do you do? I have this do because I've got you. What do you do? What does she do? He would say, I am a chef. You, I am. Where you work? A hotel, restaurant. Where do you work? I work in a hotel, restaurant. Notice, do. So I have work, no addition to the verb. One more. I have 2 uncles and both of them are lawyers. Your uncles do. Lawyers. What do your uncles do? Because my uncles here, the pronoun for them is they. So, what do they do? What do your uncles do? What can you tell? Lawyers? They are lawyers. Where? Work, and the answer is office. Where does he work, or where does he work if he is one? We will say he works in an office. One works in an office. They work in an office. One more. Aisha's father do. He is a sales manager. So we will say here, what does Aisha's father do? Her father, Aisha's father, here is the pronoun is he. What does he do? He is a salesperson. Where work? The place that he works. Where does he work? Does. So he works at a shopping mall. He works at the shopping mall. Okay, one more. Faisal do car mechanic. What does Faisal do? Faisal, he. So, what does he do? He is a car mechanic. And for work, we will answer the place that he works. Where does he work? He works in a garage. So notice the does, so that's why we've got the S. He, where does he work? Okay, now we need to speak about the time expressions. What do we mean by time expression? It is an expression or a word that will be within the sentence this will tell you the sentence in the simple present, simple past, past progressive, or whatever. Like on the weekend, yesterday, last week, on weekdays, last month, a week ago, next week, and every day. Here we're speaking about the present simple. Something is happening repetitively every day. So I can speak about on the weekend, every weekend, on weekdays, every Sunday and Monday, and also every day, every single day. It happens today, tomorrow, and the following day, and yesterday. The others, next week, last month, these are for the present, for the future, and for the past. So these are for the present simple. Okay, back to our friend in here. He is Khalid, the TV reporter, if you still remember. Here he is going to tell us about his job. I became a reporter in 2017. Being a TV reporter is never easy. I work on weekends, and I work in the morning and at night. I work for long hours every day. Now here we want to see, like, how did I know that this thing happened at this time? We need a proposition of time. Let's try to highlight the propositions. In 2017, weekend, on, weekends, and also we're having here in the morning and at night. So we're having the in, on, and we're having the at as well. These are which we call the propositions of time that we will use with the present simple tense. These are the in, on, and at. When do we use in? We use in if I'm having a time expression which refers to centuries, like the 21st century, in the 21st century. Years, in 2021. Also, with months, in January, in August, or for weeks, in the first week, in the second week. How about if I have smaller chunk of time? I will use on, like on Monday, on Sunday, or the weekend, just for 2 days. Less than 7 days, you will use on the weekend, because it's only 2 days. So if I have 7 weeks or higher, you will use n. If it is 1 or 2 days, you will use on. How about if I have very specific time, like at 9, at night, or a very exact time, at 9:30. So exact time, at, bigger, 2 days, I will use here. On, bigger, like a week or a month, you will use in, on, and we're having at. Okay, so we're having an exercise in your books, page 30. Exercise A. Complete the sentences with the simple present tense of an appropriate verb. Choose the correct verb. Then you will write the correct proposition, which is the in, on, or at. So we're bringing all things together. Present simple plus the proposition of time. What your uncle? He is a writer. I'm asking about someone's job. Uncle, he. What does your uncle do? What does your uncle do? He is a writer. Here I used does because my uncle here is he. He books. What does he do with books? He plays? No. Here we will use he writes. Notice the S because it's he, and we have also does. He writes books. Positive, affirmative sentence, so we will use the S. Number 2, Adnan is a bus driver. He, a city bus. What does he do as a bus driver? Well, drive. So he drives. Notice, drives because we have he. It stands for the does. He drives a city bus. He works. Notice the S because we have he. Night. Maybe from a specific time. What do we use with night? In, on, or at. We will use he works at night. When you have night, just use at. He works at night. Where Umar and Ali? Umar and Ali, they. So, do or does? Where do Umar and Ali work? Where do they work? Then they, we will use work. They work. Notice nothing in here because it says they. They work in a hospital. They are doctors. Okay? So these they are. Notice when it is he, she, or it, just use the verb plus s. It stands for the does. Now let's check your workbooks on page 19. Page 19 in your workbooks, we're having exercise L. Complete the conversation. Circle the correct answer. Again, if it is a proposition of time, you will check the timing, year, so it will be in. If it is a present simple, just choose whether works or work, do or does. Yahya is talking to Gregory. Yahya: Hi, I am Yahya Abdullah. I am a photographer and I work or works for a sports magazine in Riyadh. Let's notice I, not he, she, or it. Work or works. It is I work. He works. Yahya works, but I work. I work for a sports magazine in Riyadh. Gregory will answer, that's a great job. I am Gregory Hunter. Yusuf: What do you do or you are doing? The answer, we have to read the answer. I am a football coach. Something that you do for a living. So is it what do you do or what are you doing now? The answer is what do you do? What are you doing today? But what do you do for a living? For me, I am a teacher. What do you do? He is a football coach. He's doing this for life, forever. What do you do? I am a football coach. I coach, notice, I coach, not coaches, the players in a club here. And my wife is a teacher. She is not at school now. Now she's not at school. On or in weekends, 2 days of the week, weekend. On or in. So on weekends, because it's 2 days, in for a week. On weekends, she doesn't work or she don't work. She is at home. Notice the she here. We have she. So is it she doesn't or she does or she don't? She doesn't work. She is at home. Every weekend, she doesn't work. She stays at home. Okay? For your homework, I want you to refer to your books, page 19. There is an exercise which is forming sentences using the simple present tense. Works, does, what do you do, what does he do? Okay? I guess that is it for our lesson today, and thank you so much for your time.